This woman suddenly realized that her husband was worth 25 yuan a day. Her husband died in a car accident not long before the disaster. Zhao Shizhe compensated 300,000 yuan according to the age of her husband. In Zhao Shizhe's eyes, her husband was only worth 25 yuan a day. The woman named Hejie. After her husband died in a car accident, she was so sad that she had no time to make any reaction. The court ruled that she was muddled-headedly pulled to take over the body and was muddled-headedly taken to sign. Her husband's life was only worth 300,000 yuan. Zhao Shizhe thought she was good at negotiating and talking, but he did not know that Hejie was still addicted to sadness. At that moment, only her mother-in-law, who accompanied her day and night, became a pile of mud. After she received the money, she wanted to pay tribute to Zhao Shizhe. Until she returned home, her mother-in-law's cry awakened her a little. What can Hejie do? The police have taken care of everything. She hasn't figured out what to do next. Her mother-in-law was too sad and fell down the stairs and died on the spot. At the moment that Hejie turned around, she was still in a daze. She was just crying and blaming her mother-in-law. She couldn't speak anymore. She was completely out of her mind. She was absent-minded at work. She couldn't concentrate on her work. She was fired by a kindergarten. She didn't know what to do. She wanted to find Zhao Shizhe. But it was a high-end community. She couldn't get in without an appointment. Fortunately, she met a student in the original class. She became the nanny of the student's house by accident. She stood on the balcony of the student's house. She could see Zhao Shizhe's house. She wanted to know if the other person was like her. She was still living in a nightmare of a car accident. It's a pity that she was the only one left in the past. The other party was so angry that he even called his friends to line up. They hung a ribbon to pray. It was just a gap for rich people like them. She didn't know how to express her complex feelings. She could only move forward for the sake of life. At this time, she went to the museum with her child. They saw a beautiful lake. She also heard something that shocked her greatly. We just saw a big lake. The expert said it was worth 200,000 yuan, and the little ant in it lived for at most 10 days. It was caught on fire by pine needles. So let's count it. How much does this lucky little bug live for a day? An ant that has lived for 10 days is worth 20,000 yuan a day. How much does her husband worth? She accidentally found the male owner of Gao Shili. My husband, Feng, died. He lost 300,000 yuan. In this way, he was only worth 25 yuan a day. What do you mean? When Feng died, he was 32 years old. He married for 20 days. He married for 12,000 days. 300,000 divided by 12,000 days, he was only worth 25 yuan a day. How can a person's life be measured by 25 yuan a day? The man thought he shouldn't count it that way. But when Hejie asked him how to count it, he was also confused. At this time, the female owner returned. She saw the two sitting together. The female owner looked a little unhappy. She warned Hejie every time, "Don't worry, I won't come back." Hejie lowered his head and said something. She was like an ant that was about to break. She was manipulated. She didn't want her husband to marry her, so she called Zhao Shizhe. "I calculated it carefully. My husband is only worth 25 yuan a day." "What do you mean? I don't understand." I didn't mean anything. I just don't quite understand." If Hejie wanted money, he wouldn't have counted the money so easily at first. But now he really feels that if his husband is only worth 25 yuan a day, he is not as good as an ant. He knows that the express can be delivered to the house. He sent a delivery of 23 yuan to Zhao Shizhe's house. Let Zhao Shizhe pay another 23 yuan. Does it mean that his husband has lived one more day? Less than 2 days later, Hejie met Zhao Shizhe again at the school. His car collided with someone else. Hejie heard that a Mercedes car maintenance fee is 4,500 yuan. She began to calculate the value of her husband again. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. Even the car collided with someone else. Zhao Shizhe is willing to spend so much money, but her husband solved it with only 25 yuan a day." She found a way out. She wanted to ask her husband if he would blame her for only receiving 300,000 yuan in compensation. And 300,000 yuan seems to be insignificant in front of a life. She blamed her and her husband's friends. Her friends ridiculed her for not being able to leave her husband a daughter after she got married. Not only did she get a home, but she used her husband's life to become half a rich man. She's even worse than a dog in their family. That dog was born by her husband. After her husband passed away, she waited by the road every day and waited for her master to appear. As if in the eyes of her friends, Hejie should be sad forever. It's better to be like that dog and stay in the past forever. She blamed Hejie for renting out the old house. It's not good for the puppy. But the reason why she left the old house was because she wanted to monitor Zhao Shizhe wholeheartedly. And she didn't rent the house to make money. She rented a house to let the tenant treat her puppy well. But the tenant took advantage of her. It had nothing to do with the dog's death. At this time, the dog was also hit by the car coming and going. Hejie was left alone. This time she cried loudly and took the dog's body to Zhao Shizhe. She even drove all the people in her family out. But what else could she do? She couldn't do anything. The only thing she could do was to make her husband's death worth it. So the woman took advantage of the situation and sneaked into a high-end community. She found a Mercedes-Benz and left a huge scratch on it with a key. Hejie knew that the cost of repairing the car was 4,500 yuan. She didn't change the car once. Zhao Shizhe had to pay 4,500 yuan, and her husband only paid 25 yuan. Her husband lived another 180 days. But the courier she sent before was returned. She was a little angry. She fell into the small car again, and the car was scratched. She enjoyed the sound of her ears as if her husband was shouting. The cost of repairing the car twice was 9,000 yuan. In this way, her husband lived another year. When she saw the other side of the house quarreling over the car, she finally smiled. But the car no longer appeared there. The argument ended soon. There was a party across the street. Everything seemed to go back to the beginning. Angry Hejie planned to go to the garage to find the car, but he accidentally met Zhao Shizai's family. His heart was taken by surprise. He was afraid that the other person would recognize him. He knew he was the murderer of the scratched Mercedes-Benz car. However, Zhao Shizai's family had long forgotten him. They forgot that not long ago they had handed 300,000 yuan to him. They also forgot that not long ago they had made a living life disappear. He tried to run forward and wanted to find them for an explanation, but the car was getting further and further away from him. He came to the river unevenly and filled a lot of stones in the box. He took a big box of stones and pretended to be valuable. He wanted to give it to Zhao Shizai, but the courier had to check what was inside. He could only take the box and run away in panic. He threw the stones into the river one by one, but the stones in his heart had been sinking. Not long, things took a turn. When he used a telescope to monitor the other family, he found that their family had committed a crime. He didn't say anything, but he was desperate to know what happened. When he passed the group of thieves, he didn't say anything until he heard that the police said the family had been stolen more than 1 million jewelry. He was stunned. If the 1 million yuan was transferred to his husband could live for more than 100 years. It is clear that before the precious jewelry, Zhao Shizai's family came back at this time. I heard that there was another person in the family at that time. Because he witnessed the process of the thief's crime, he was brutally killed. Hejie was in a daze. He never thought that everything would end up this way. It turned out that whether it was the life of a rich man or the life of a poor man, they were all worthless and easy to disappear. He found the godmother again. But the godmother only wanted money. Your husband said I was too hard. You have to add money to me. However, this time, Hejie did not continue to question. He got up and left. Thank you. He was happy. He was no longer terrified because of the godmother's words. He went home and had a long dream. The dream seemed to come true. A group of rich people came to their homes to party. After waking up from the dream, everything seemed so cold. However, this time, he did not need to do anything to prove the value of his husband. He was finally able to reconcile with everything, like his name.